wanna bury you in 6 feet of sugar. I wanna watch you come back to me. With every step I pray it doesn't rain. My own kind.
Welcome to this episode of Junk Food on the Road. For today's episode, we will be discussing
airports.
It's
kind of a different thing.
Yeah, we've been to a lot of airports, and it's funny because a lot of stuff in airports is monolithic. Like there's always Toblerone.
Yeah, I mean, as far
M&Ms.
as we're talking, then you're putting it in the context of the duty-free store.
Yeah, but there's some duty-free stores that have some interesting stuff.
There is, but I will always say that there's duty-free stores that have interesting stuff, but all duty-free stores have certain things.
Yeah.
So they have Oreos,
Toblerones, M&Ms,
and then they often have the Nestle sort of mixed stuff with Smarties and things like that as well.
And there's the Lindor.
Yeah, like the Lindt stuff.
Yeah, and then there's that other thing with the little mini chocolate bars that they always have.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what that one is.
Yeah, and then often you also see the one with the cow, the Milky.
Yeah, sometimes. Not everywhere.
Not everywhere, but there are some ones that are common. Also, there's some that's sort of continentally common.
Yeah, there's always the Milka in Europe.
Yeah, if you go to Southeast Asia, or not Southeast Asia, Southern Asia, like India and Pakistan and everything, you always find Tang.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tang in the Middle East as well.
Yeah, in the Middle East and
milk.
We
haven't been very much.
Powdered milk.
I don't remember the powdered milk.
Powdered milk and Tang. I seem to find it's a lot of.
So powdered drinking stuff.
Powdered drinking stuff seems to be a thing there, so I don't quite understand that. But
yeah, you bought. Oh no, you haven't in an airport. Because they're massive, right? They're like a full gallon of powder.
Yeah, it's like buying the water you need to do that would probably be like one of those oil barrels. Maybe that's why.
Well, I think you do it bit by bit.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, like take a scoop and put it in a glass or something.
That's why my Tang always comes out sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, the duty-free stores are definitely, there's a lot, but there have been Turkey has some amazing Turkish delight, and the best thing about
other stuff too.
The best thing about the Turkish delight in Turkey is they often have samples like crazy.
They always have crazy samples.
Like we've had opportunities where we had access to the lounge in Turkey. I'm using air quotes here because you can't see it.
Why are you using air quotes? It's an amazing lounge.
It's a great lounge. But the one thing that before you go to the lounge, it's worth stopping at the stores to get the Turkish delight because they don't actually offer that in the lounges.
No, but they have a lot of stuff in the lounge.
The lounge is pretty amazing. We'll get into I think we'll do lounges as sort of a subject on its own in this thing.
Okay. It's hard to think about because there's so many airports we've been in.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, what do we talk about?
That's something to talk about. There's a lot of bad airports. I mean, there's some that are really bad, but then there's sort of this middle gray area that's not great.
They have nothing but the sort of usual.
Usual, and like the food, often...
Tins of Oreos,
stuff like that. And they'll have a few restaurants, sometimes just sort of local-ish restaurants, like the local chains will have a thing. It's actually rare, like you don't see too many McDonald's in restaurants anymore. Like that's
in airports, you mean?
In airports. Like, you don't see McDonald's in airports.
You see Burger King a lot.
Burger King's a lot.
KFC quite a bit in Asia, anyway.
Dairy Queen, there's a few.
There's a few Dairy Queens.
But it's weird, like, McDonald's is sort of out of it.
And then, like, a lot of places have a sort of food courty restaurant
vibe.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, like even a section, yeah. Yeah, so, and generally that's, like, I guess some of them might be kind of local small chains, and then some of them are just, like, airport exclusives.
I have a memory of going upstairs and getting a really good breakfast at a food courty type area in an airport, and I cannot for the life of me remember what airport that was.
Mm-hmm. Turkey has an interesting...
It was in the UK, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. Turkey has an interesting food courty area because they have a lot of, sort of some local stuff that's kind of fun to try and pretty good.
It's really nice. It's on the opposite end of the airport is the lounge.
But it's all busy.
Yeah.
It's always busy. Like, getting a table there is
But
horrific.
it's literally cafeteria style.
Yeah.
And the food is amazing.
Yeah, that's one of the ones. We've been to Dubai quite a few times, and I seem to always remember that Dubai was great the first few times we visited, and it's
the very first time we went to Dubai, we left the immigration section, and it was a Friday, so the trains weren't going to be working until 1, and we were there at like 11. So we went to Burger King.
It was awful.
It was the only thing open.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things to talk about airports is inside versus outside. Like one of the questions, a good hot tip for you if you're if you're sort of new to traveling or don't travel too much, when you're checking in, ask at the check-in and ask if there's a lot past security.
Yeah, because sometimes there's nothing.
There's nothing. Greece is the worst.
Ottawa's
has awful too.
Tim Hortons and a relay with
and they have a juice place.
2-day-old sandwiches.
They have a juice place too.
If you go to the American.
It depends on
Archers,
the.
yeah.
But yeah, so when you're checking in, always ask, because again, Greece has like McDonald's. It has a McDonald's and it has a couple other restaurants too.
Greece is awesome outside the security
area. But the
area.
minute you cross that security, you're lucky if there's a place selling cookies.
There's that cold pizza place.
Yeah, it's like it's awful.
Literally, you can go and you're like, oh, okay, I've got like 45 minutes before I need to be at my gate, and there's only 3 people in the line ahead of me. And then 40 minutes later, there's still 3 people in the line ahead of you.
Yeah, it's the worst inside the airport there. That is awful.
Athens.
In Athens. But yeah, so make sure to ask. That's something, and generally the staff know, and they can answer your questions as far as like, what's beyond security and what isn't. Most of the time there's good stuff beyond security, but
sometimes there's not.
Yeah, and again,
it's always good to check.
I was talking about Dubai. Dubai's sort of gone downhill.
Yeah, it has.
Which is kind of sad because it used to be considered one of the better airports, and now it's kind of.
It still has those nice restaurants at the very top.
They're okay. There's a lot of overpriced stuff there.
And there's a lot of repetition in the duty-free shops.
Yes, in the that's actually, I mean, in general.
There's a lot of tang too, and nuts. You can get a lot of nuts in the duty-free shop there, which is amazing.
It's true.
And at reasonable prices.
Yeah, that's something else to talk about is the prices. Generally, airport prices are higher.
Yeah, it's like duty-free, and it's like, okay, so you've just increased your profit margin because this is more expensive than it costs in town.
Yeah.
So how is this duty-free?
Yeah, you're not going to get a bargain at the airport often. Occasionally you come across something.
Dubai, nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't hold out and think, well, I can get this duty free and it'll be cheaper when you're traveling. Chances are that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about some of the best airports. We've sort of talked about. I mean, the worst ones I would say that we've ever. Let's start worst. The worst ones I can say are Kenya.
The
airport was awful.
Goodness.
And food wise, it was awful.
That was the worst airport dinner I think I've ever had.
Yeah. I mean, not that you're likely to travel there because not so many people do. Pakistan's airport is not great. I mean, there's a new one.
It has a Dunkin' Donuts.
It has a new.
Oh yeah, there's a new airport
now. There's a new airport now, so we're not sure. But the old airport was not great.
Islamabad.
In Islamabad was not great.
Because there are other airports in Pakistan.
True.
Karachi is okay.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's okay.
Yeah. So sometimes, I mean, it's funny because sometimes an airport looks like a slightly better bus stop.
Yeah.
And sometimes airports are like.
Yeah, Karachi looks like an airport, and once you get through security, there's actually a couple of really neat shops there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can get some
Islamabad
local specialties.
Was not that. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
But yeah, but Kenya was probably the worst airport we've been in that I can.
Recently.
Yeah, recently. That off the top of my head, that's particularly an international airport. It was pretty sad.
Yeah. Now Bangkok, Suvarnabhumi. That's a place where if you have been to Thailand and you have fallen in love with coconut mango sticky rice, which everyone should fall in love with, it is your last chance. Once you get through security, there's like some pretty amazing stuff at Suvarnabhumi.
Yeah.
And including you can get coconut mango sticky rice. So if you want to have that one last taste, it's available there.
It is, and generally I do. There's also a couple of pubs there that were good. We had some places.
Yeah. There's like some decent pub food.
It's a good middle line.
And they're not bad. Like if you tell them that you have a flight, they'll still make you sweat a little bit, but they'll be a little bit faster. Maybe.
Yeah. The seating there can be a little off. Finding a seat when you're eating can be a little difficult.
It's weird because each little restaurant, like we went to a Subway once and asked if they had tables, and they're like, well, just go to anywhere and take a table. So it's not, it looks like there's table seating for each little restaurant, but it's all actually communal. It's just sort of grouped by the restaurants.
Yeah,
we ate our Subway at the pub.
No, it was at Starbucks.
Was it at Starbucks?
I think it was at Starbucks.
Oh, I thought it was at the pub.
Yeah. So, I would say Thailand is a very middle airport. It's comfortable. It's not anything special.
No.
But it's very comfortable and very good. I would say if I had to.
There's drinking water that you can get, but it tastes terrible. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can fill up your water bottle with like at a drinking water station, but it is not good tasting water. But it will keep you hydrated. And
Yeah,
it won't
which
make
is
you sick.
important when you're flying.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, if we were to say the best airports, I can name 3 great airports that I think.
Incheon.
Incheon is
In
good.
Korea,
In
near
Korea is
Seoul.
good. And I would say also.
But outside security is where you find the KFC and the Loteria.
I think there's McDonald's too.
And
isn't
I think there's a McDonald's. Maybe,
there? Outside security.
It might be inside. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But it's also got like cute little sandwich and salad shops and like they have a nice wide variety. And, and they offer free tours, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean beyond just it's a fine airport. If you're stuck there for a few hours, you can easily keep yourself busy and get some decent food while you're there.
Yeah.
The other one I would say is Changi in
Changi is amazing.
Singapore. One of the things that it has that Allison was mentioning before we recorded this is fish skin.
Yeah. Salted egg fish skins.
They have a booth.
And I think they have potato chips too that are made with salted egg.
Yeah. But that booth, when it has product, has a lineup.
Yeah.
Everybody
Everybody loves the salted egg chips and fish skins.
And in the airport, it's as popular as it is anywhere else.
Yeah, it's definitely a Singapore thing, but
Mm-hmm.
you can get it in the airport.
That airport is very Singapore based. Like one of the reasons actually we visited Singapore in the past is because of what I saw at the airports.
Chris wanted to see the merlion.
The merlion, and part of it is because they had like merlion cookies, merlion chocolates. So it's a very Singapore heavy airport. They also have those what is it like pork stuff that's like red and it's like it almost looks like jerky.
Yeah.
And it's in the square. We've never tried it.
I can't eat it because it's got fish in it.
And I'm afraid because it just looks weird.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Chris wanted. I had been to Singapore before, and I told him like the merlion was really not that special. But so the merlion is not worth going to Singapore for, but the zoo totally is.
Very good. And the city itself is nice.
The city is very nice.
Yeah. So
It's
and those
it's
tree
sort of
things, those light up tree things are
and-
cool.
Yeah, that tree park. The
Tree park is kind of
fake
fun.
tree park.
It's kind of neat.
With real vegetation growing on the fake trees.
Yeah. Kind of looks like something.
And near the
Avatar.
merlion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one of the there's like 7 merlions.
Yeah, but that's like the main merlion.
And
I
they
think.
have an amusement park. They have a Universal Studios.
So yeah, but yeah, back to the airport. It's one of the biggest airports in the world, but it is very repetitious.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter which terminal you go to.
Yeah, and you can wander all the terminals and you'll find like a lot of the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
Which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
You know,
they used to have a dedicated M&M store, which was really cool because you could get your picture with a giant M&M.
yeah, now they have
No.
Chocolate World, I think it's called, or something like that.
It's different.
So it's a fun airport too. They often have little art installations that are fun, and the food is okay, but it's again it's repetitive, and a lot of the same stuff you find in common airports. And the other airport I was going to mention, let's see, there's 3 airports that were good. I seem to remember.
I don't know what your.
I don't remember the third airport.
You should have told me before. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
But Incheon and Changi, like
Mm-hmm.
Seoul and Singapore, are definitely 2 of the I would say the 2 best airports in the world.
Yeah.
And Singapore also offers the tours.
yeah. What do you think of Toronto Airport?
It's okay. I mean, it has Tim Hortons.
Yeah, it has what you need. It has it past security.
Yeah.
It's I mean
It's expensive,
yeah.
but most airports are. The lounge has gotten both worse and better.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
They've made a new signature lounge, and they've sort of upped their food game, but they've lowered their amenities game. Like you can't have a shower there.
And I'll be honest, the amount of food offered is less. It's better food, but
it's on tiny little plates. You get a little plate that's like 3 inches in diameter, and so they make you feel like a pig if you go back for a third plate.
yeah. So we might as well talk about the lounge. Turkey has probably the best lounge I've ever seen.
There's like an omelet bar. There's 2 levels. There's all these tea and coffee stations. There's I think there's a carvery.
Yeah, and honey. They have honey in a comb, and you scoop it out of the comb.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's insane. I think that the lounge in square footage is bigger than the rest of the airport. The
It's
rest of the public
massive.
area. It's huge. And they have like these handy lockers to keep your stuff in. And you don't even need to remember what locker you put your stuff in because they're glass and you can just see your stuff.
Yeah.
And the key is just figuring out how to use the combinations to get it back out because it's not intuitive.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, that lounge is pretty good. I'm trying to think, what other lounges? I mean,
I know.
Europe in general can go up and down in
It
lounges.
can go up and down. Like Frankfurt is notorious for having a terrible business class lounge. I inadvertently went to the first class lounge, which was much better.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to the business class lounge, and I got really mad because I'd been on an overnight flight, and they made me show my Star Alliance Gold status card to get into the lounge, and I'm like, but I'm flying business class. Like, why are you doing this to me? And then it was on my way back when I transited through Frankfurt again that I actually had some sleep, and I was in the first class lounge, and it's like, good to know, if you have Star Alliance Gold status, you can go to the first class lounge at Frankfurt and avoid the crappy business lounge. But I'd have to say some of the business lounges are better than the Frankfurt first class lounge.
Okay. I would say, I guess because not everybody travels in lounges. We travel a lot, so we often have that opportunity.
I would say more often than not we don't.
Yes, more often than not, but we've had experience. Would you say it's worth paying for a lounge?
I would never pay for a lounge.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. I mean, even we went to the lounge in Islamabad, which is one of the worst airports, and it was not worth paying for, even though it's like, I think, $5 to get in.
I don't even remember that lounge.
It's just a bunch of sofas with, and what you often get in lounges is, the main thing you always get is drinks for free.
Yeah.
You get sort of your own bathroom and generally more comfortable chairs.
Yeah. And sometimes showers and
sometimes food like snacks. Sometimes like bags of chips.
Sometimes there's good food in lounges, and sometimes there's terrible food in lounges.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes it's like a bag of chips and some day-old muffins, and sometimes it's like a nice restaurant.
The Incheon lounge is pretty good.
I don't know if I've never done that. Have I? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was okay. The one in Shanghai was horrible. The food was awful.
Yeah. It was terrible, and it was terrible. Like super crowded and not very comfortable. And
it was more crowded in the airport. It's weird. Like they emptied the airport into the lounge.
Yeah.
Like you could hardly get a seat in the lounge, and the airport was empty.
I feel like that was one of those places where people could pay like a really cheap amount and go in.
And you know what? Don't, because there's better stuff outside.
Yeah.
I think you're probably going to get better food, and I think you're probably going to get more comfortable seating.
Yeah.
Outside
better
the
to pay for food and have good food than pay maybe even a little bit less to get into the lounge than what you would pay for food. Although it's almost never less than what you would pay for food.
Yeah, you'd have to eat a lot of food to
Yeah.
really make your money. Like, you have to sit down and eat a lot of food. Like, I don't know, maybe if you have 12 hours and you got a couple of meals, it might be worth paying.
Maybe.
But definitely weigh that out. Walk around and sort of look at prices. And, I mean, comfort is a bit of it, but,
Yeah.
And
you can always ask what the amenities are inside.
Yeah, often they have like little, they're not shy.
Yeah.
Showers are a big part of lounge. If a lounge has a shower and you've got a long wait,
a long layover, or you're in between two really long flights,
it's really nice to take a shower.
Yeah, and some, like Incheon is one of them, gives you shampoo and toothpaste and toothbrush.
Doesn't Incheon offer showers for non?
Yeah, Incheon has a transit lounge that's amazing, but we're not talking about junk food anymore.
Yeah.
At the transit lounge, you can buy like little sandwiches and drinks and stuff like that, but they have a nap room. If you have an incoming and an outgoing boarding pass, you can use the transit lounge for free.
Yeah. So
it's a nap room, quiet area. There's like an internet area. There's showers. And they're nice. They're clean, and you get all of the amenities.
And Changi has a lot of amenities for
transit people.
For transit, or just, for anybody transiting, like theaters and gardens.
Yeah, there's a butterfly conservatory.
And so there's a lot to do. I mean, for sure. But again, we are getting off the subject of food. Junk food at this point. But I mean, in general, I mean, airports, it's expensive. It's almost always going to be more expensive than outside. Don't expect brands. And
don't expect there to be local flavor.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them do have local stuff, but some don't.
Some don't. And sometimes the local flavor is a little bit fabricated.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a different thing, particularly if you're in a country.
Well, like take Manchester Airport, for instance. It has the most potato chip vending machines I've ever seen.
And burritos.
I don't remember the burritos. We had KFC there.
No, we had burritos.
In Manchester?
Pretty sure.
No. We totally had KFC.
Okay.
Because I remember the nightmarish lineup.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they didn't have they forgot us.
Oh, that was the last time we were in Manchester. The time before.
Oh, you're talking about the other time we went to Manchester.
That was we got burritos.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, it turned out to be all right.
fine. But that's actually a good sort of last minute tip. Be careful what you get. Don't assume that food is good. A friend of mine recently went to Mexico and thought, sushi sounds like a great idea at the airport in Mexico. And, maybe you're a little tired. Maybe you're just out of, happy to be leaving.
You're tired of Mexican food and you think, sushi, wow, that's different.
You know what? Be careful what you get. Not just because they're in an airport does not mean they're extra careful about food poisoning. And getting food poisoning when you're about to get on a 12-hour flight is the worst thing that could possibly happen. So just be really, really careful. If there's anything even slightly questionable, don't do it. Just avoid it and just, be safe and get something. Chain restaurants like McDonald's, I think, tend to be a little safer.
Yeah.
But, KFC,
And check the pies at McDonald's when you go to a different place, because sometimes they have really interesting flavors.
Yeah, I would say
not necessarily just at airports, but in general.
In general, but airports, particularly if you're transiting, sometimes give you a little bit of the flavor and might give you thoughts about visiting that place.
We got a custard and date pie at the Dubai airport.
Yeah.
During Ramadan.
Yeah, so that's some. Even if you're not going to eat at a restaurant, check them all out. It's worth it.
Okay, I have to go to work.
Okay, so thanks for listening to another episode of Junk Food on the Road. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at CandyCritic, or you can go to www.candycritic.org and find links to all of our other social media. You can also follow us on Patreon to help support us, patreon.com/CandyCritic. Allison's about to leave, so I'm going to say goodbye.
Bye.
I wanna bury you in 6 feet of sugar. I wanna watch you come back to me. With every step I pray it doesn't rain. My own Candy Mountain. They say things don't last, but hey, I've always holding my candy. Not much of a sweet tooth anyway. I wanna bear you 6 feet of sugar, honey. I wanna bear you 6 feet of sugar, honey.